If 1,000 people want to give me money for this solution, I need to reject 900 something of them because I will not be able in the next few months to implement this solution.
There's a reason why big companies are so much slower than small companies. Like, we already realize this now. The speed of how we do things becomes slower because there's so many more people involved.
We have a team of 14 or 15 people right now in total because that was the theme of the past year, basically, because that's the only way you can grow a business. You can't go to 10 million a year being a solopreneur. We're gonna smash this year so hard.
Smash 2025.
All right. Hello, everybody. We are hosting the first AI Mafia Mastermind in 2025. Today, we are here in Koh Phangan, Thailand. And today, we're going to talk about all our learnings and our journey in the past 18 months while having an AI sales agency, OmniFusion AI. And we're going to share all the value and all the learnings and everything we found working and not working together with you so you get out the most valuable information in the shortest amount of time. I'm here with Emil Fashang, my co-founder and head of product at OmniFusion AI. And my name is Sarah BC. I'm the CEO of OmniFusion. And I think we're good to go.
Yeah. All right.
Let's just start off.
First thing on the agenda is to reflect on our journey in 2024 and also maybe a little bit of 2023. We did the very first video on this channel is a podcast which we did together before we ever started building out any solutions, before we ever had a client. So we've come
It's kind of a nostalgia moment today.
We've come a long way since then, and it's our first duo podcast back. All we knew that we wanted to do was to build AI solutions, chatbots mainly, something with sales, maybe support. Those are kind of use cases we had in mind. And since then, we've gone fully the AI sales route. We've built out a ton of projects. I think probably like around 50 projects in the AI space. We launched a software. We've come so far. What do you think is like the key element of like these past 1.5 years? What would you say is like the most noteworthy thing that has happened for us?
The most noteworthy thing is that we had a side project which is called Auto IGDM, which became a main project silently and creeping up and taking all our time, which is a positive as well. Like, we have processed thousands of clients. We are blessed to have cash flow and revenue thanks to Auto IGDM. It fits our business, our niche, and our vertical perfectly fine because it's a tool to make sales for automated outreach, right, on Instagram. However, it changed our direction, or it took the focus from our actual goal to help businesses scale their sales team with AI. And that was our main mission. And we kind of went off that route for quite some time. And so one of the biggest learnings also in the past 2 weeks was we need to get back on track with what our actual mission is, obviously without kicking out our other company and our other source of revenue. So I would say the big main keyword for this is probably focus. We lost focus in a good way. However, we need to get back the focus for our main mission.
I think
what's it for you?
For everyone listening, just to go on top of what you just said, I think when you start building a business in the AI space, you're quickly going to realize that if you actually do things and you work hard, that the problem isn't that you have nothing to do, but the problem becomes that you have too much that you can do, too many ideas. You would not believe how many ideas we've had the past 1.5 years of, oh my God, this would be an incredible service, but you need to kind of prioritize. And also in this group here, we're 11 or 12. So we're 11 or 12 AI entrepreneurs. Every single one of them has a delivery issue and not so much a client issue.
Yeah.
Every single one of the guys here can pick and choose who they want to work with because there's so much demand. We're passing around leads and nobody wants them. Like, somebody sends a lead in the group chat. Nobody wants the lead because we're all so busy. So I think that's something which is special about this space, is that you can get into it, suddenly have such an abundance of opportunities, it becomes more and more relevant to say no to these things. So I would say my biggest learning, or my biggest theme over the past 1.5 years, is to always stay humble, keep learning, to never lose focus for too many shiny objects which come along the way. To try and maintain that focus, you're going to lose focus. It's going to happen because we knew that we should be focused. Everyone knows you should stay focused. So it's easier said than done.
It's just important to get back to it as soon as you discover it happened. That's basically what meditation teaches you, right?
Yeah. So that's like mindfulness meditation. We did a lot of cool stuff here. So you're probably going to see that in the after movie as well for this mastermind trip. But yeah, I think that's the key learning. And now going into 2025, we're going to go back to the roots, the original thing that I just mentioned, the original podcast that we made. was about building AI sales, support, chatbots, maybe something in that direction. We're going to go back to the main focus being our AI sales agency, building the best possible AI sales systems to put into businesses, also helping other people do that with tutorial videos that I'm going to make. Sarah is going to share a lot of insights. So there's going to be a lot of stuff to learn about this AI sales agency space. We're going to focus on that while keeping the software auto IGDM, which we have built, running on the side, but bring it to a point where we don't have any involvement. I know you already did that very nicely. I'm getting there and lowering my operational involvement in the business so that we can fully focus on OmniFusion AI. So I think that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, definitely. I want to add on top of that, it's very interesting what he said, that we don't have a lead problem. I would say we don't have a lead problem for more than a year now, or close to a year, which we are blessed with. However, doesn't mean that everything's running smoothly. If you don't have a lead problem, you apparently have another problem. And we have a delivery problem where we need to scale the operations, scale the amount of projects we can take, and so on. However, I also had a very interesting discussion already today with Yannis, very shortly in the morning, why most of the guys here have successful AI businesses. However, nearly everyone is also building an educational product on top of it and building a community like we did. I mean, if you're watching this, you're probably part of the OmniFusion AI community. More Clients with AI is our school group, which is totally free, where we have, I think, 8,000 people and growing. And the point of all this is the demand for AI solutions in the market is insanely high. I mean, you can imagine every business now wants to integrate some kind of AI solution to their processes, and no department is left untouched. So you can change things in support, you can change things in sales, you can change things in operation, in HR, in management. Everywhere there is use cases for AI. We specifically focus on sales. So we specifically focus on making businesses more money with AI, and that runs very, very well. However, there is only this amount of projects we can take in a year. Let's say last year it was 50 projects. Without it being our main focus, we delivered around 50 projects, I would say, in a little bit more than 12 months, which is great. However, let's plan this year for 100, 150 or 200 projects. There is millions of companies out there who need this solution. So there's only a handful of companies which we can help with our solution because it's actually work to implement and make it work really good and make it work seamlessly so the client doesn't have more overhead with it, but only the joy of using it. And that's, I think, also a reason why most of the people here go the educational route. That's definitely why we are at some point going this route this year, because we need more people to be trained by people who already do what they do. That's us. We're going to need to train a bunch of people to also spread these services and be able to service clients so we can actually make use of all the leads we have. If 1,000 people want to give me money for this solution, I need to reject 900 something of them because I will not be able in the next few months to implement this solution. However, if we have a big pool and the community of certified people, for example, who can actually deliver the service, and I think that's also the main idea for all the other people here. And also, I think that's similar to what Liam Otley does, right? He brought us all together here. And I think that's why it's so important, even if you have a running business, even if you do profits, even if everything works well, not just to deliver the service, but also teach people how the shovel is used, right? I think that's like a good analogy here. And this is a theme which I saw throughout the whole team. All 12 people in here having successful AI businesses are still doing or considering going the educational route. What do you think about that?
It makes a lot of sense to have the full system of, I mean, we already do it. So on YouTube, we already educate the people for free. Then we also sell these solutions to businesses. And then right now we have the free school community. So it's a logical step to help those people who want to get into what we actually do, which is sell these solutions and want to get into it fast, easily, and get the resources they need to actually make it successful. There's a reason why everyone does it that way. So we're going to go that route too, and I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be great. And AI sales agency is a great space to be in. And like you just mentioned, there is basically no competition because every business does sales, which I think brings us nicely into like the 3 learnings since we started this journey. So the first one is just do it. The path will reveal itself, which is what I mentioned at the very beginning, is that if you just do something like we did, we just started and we just did it and we started building chatbots and we started to figure stuff out. If you just do that, over time, all these opportunities are going to reveal itself to you, but you'll never see those opportunities if you don't just start.
Yeah. And adding to this, I think also it revealed to us, which I mean, we partly knew from the beginning because we had previous businesses, all of us, there is no shortcuts. Like there is no shortcuts except just doing it. If you can do something today to bring you further in the business you want to pursue, do it today and you will feel much better. And then you have something to connect on tomorrow. So just do it. And especially when it comes to these AI solutions, it's all about nuances. That's what I hear so many times, especially from the voice guys. We have a couple guys who are just focusing on AI voice. Simply 30% of the group are focusing on AI voice. And most of them are saying that it's all about the nuances. Everyone can spin up an AI voice caller who is calling you in like 10 minutes with some tool online. But it doesn't mean that this can work inside of a business. This will not work en masse. This will not work and provide the value a business is seeking. This is maybe a cool gimmick. So everyone can make AI a cool gimmick, I guess. Everyone can spin up a custom GPT. Everyone can spin up some funny stuff when it comes to voice AI. However, making these use cases and making these solutions work as required by the client really involves learning it, doing it, learning it, doing it. I mean, I want to pass this question to Emil because he's actually building the products. I'm just selling them, right? From your first AI project until now, the latest one you've built, how much would you consider your experience to help you building this current solution?
Yeah, so it's a different planet, basically. So the very first thing we did was like bot press back in the day, voice flow. And you start building out these projects where you have just prompts and maybe some logic. Then you start getting into API calls, API requests. Then you start combining different systems seamlessly. Then you start combining multiple channels seamlessly with stuff on top. Then clients have specific requirements for how data needs to be collected and transferred. They need to capture lead information and save it there. So these systems become more and more complex. So like you said, the key thing really is to identify over time what your use case is and how you can use all these individual elements, all of these APIs, platforms, etc., and tie them together in a way where you don't leave out any edge cases. So in a way where if the voice AI cannot recognize the email, what happens? Does it save the wrong email, or do you have feedback loops to make sure you save the right email? Do you confirm it back to the client? Like these little details make a massive difference. And along the way, you just have to keep going and figure it out. Like every project you build is a better one. And I don't build the projects as much anymore hand-on as I used to. So I used to build every single one from start to end. Whereas now, like obviously the team is growing, so it's a little bit different. But yeah, it's amazing. It's an amazing learning experience building projects. So it's really fun too if you can figure it out and if you're actually good at it. And if you're not good at it, you need to find people who are.
Yeah. And even if you find people who are, you should still try to educate yourself if you want to be a bit technically involved. I mean, we are blessed that we are 3 co-founders. So not all of us need to know all the technicalities. I'm doing the sales. He's doing the product, for example, in very rough split here. So I don't actually need to know which API call is going where. And he doesn't need to know how we are handling our leads, for example. So we can split these tasks. However, if you're a solo founder, then you should have at least a good overview of how your solution works, because that also helps you while selling it to the next client if you actually know how it works. It's a great transition into a topic I want to discuss next. But before we do that, one maybe valuable insight, I would not see AI as a niche or an industry right now as a business owner. So if you're thinking, okay, I need to do something in AI, try to get away from that thought. Try to use AI as a tool. Try to use AI as a way to get there, but not as the industry or niche. And we needed more than 12 months to find this out. So it's easier said than done. We didn't know what to do. We started with, we need to do something AI. You and me, we're cool. We're smart. We do something with AI. I have business experience. He has online marketing experience. We both had businesses before. We have a third co-founder who knows about this. We need to do some great stuff in AI. That was the first idea. However, we very quickly found out that first of all, the client actually doesn't care. The client only cares about results. And most of the time, he doesn't care if it's AI or if it's 10 human people doing it in the background. As long as the job is done for a certain amount of money and in a certain amount of speed, they don't actually care. And the second thing is try to focus on something you're good at or you want to become good at and learn that. So in our case, as said, we are having a full-on AI sales agency. And what that is basically it's an AI automation agency focusing strictly on sales processes of a business. Because we think there's more than enough to do just in the sales department of a business that we don't need to care about bookkeeping, accounting, support, and all these other things where we built projects and got good money for it. However, our core skill, especially for me being in sales for nearly a decade now, is building out a good sales strategy and sales process with AI. So our business basically is not AI. Our business is to build good salespeople and use AI to scale that. So we are using AI as a tool, as a technology to make salespeople more efficient, to make sales processes more efficient, to make lead generation, lead qualification, appointment setting, nurturing, re-nurturing, reactivating, following up, all these beautiful things we are building with AI to make the humans who are there more valuable, more efficient, and make the businesses in itself more profitable and benefit from this technology. However, I'm never going to a client and say, hey, you need this AI in your company, because most business owners actually don't care. However, if I tell them, hey, we can reactivate your 100,000 dormant leads in 4 weeks without employing a single new person into your team, then they would be like interested. And that's maybe one thing to consider. Don't consider AI as the solution. It's just a vehicle to get more efficiency. And other than that, you need to focus on the skills or on the business and niche you are really good at. For us, that's sales basically. And now we can transition, in my opinion, to what you said with the team. So he's not building those products as hands-on anymore as he did in the past, which is a good thing, because one of the learnings I had in the past 12 months as well is great people build great businesses. So you can be the smartest motherfucker in the house. You can be the hardest working. We have people here who are just sleeping 2-3 hours because they need to combine the mastermind with their calls in a different time zone and so on. So respect to those people, Mark. But you can only work a certain amount of hours per day. At some point, you need to sleep. At some point, you need to reject clients and so on, except you bring on more people to the team. And last time we had this podcast, we had 0 people. If I remember right, it was just us 2. And maybe our 3rd co-founder was there. I don't even remember, to be honest, but it was just us. Nobody on the salary. We didn't even get a salary. Nobody gets paid. Nothing happens. And now, fast forward to today, I think we have a team of 14 or 15 people right now in total, split between Auto IGDM and OmniFusion. Most of the people who are in the product department are with Emil and in Emil's team. And I think you can tell us a bit about your learnings while managing a team, growing a team, hiring talents, because that was the theme of the past year, basically, because that's the only way you can grow a business. You can't go to 10 million a year being a solopreneur.
So yeah, that was one of the biggest things that I did in the past year and had to learn. Before that, I always had VAs and like even multiple VAs, but it's different to like full-time devs, managing a dev team, building out a platform like Auto IGDM Pro, which we built with one developer and myself. So managing a team is a skill which you learn over time. I think I learned a lot here now while being with all of the guys on like inputs, which I can take now into the rest of the year. I think the main thing is reading people. You need to be somewhat good at like, okay, like how does this person function? How do they work? Can they complete the things that I need them to complete? We always do trial periods. So we'll try this for like 2 weeks. If it goes well, then we'll keep going after that. So always keep it flexible in that regard. Always give a trial task. So during the hiring process, give them a trial task to complete and see how they perform with that task, which is also a position of privilege a little bit, because if we post and Liam shares it or someone else from the community shares the post, we get a lot of applications. So then we can say, hey, listen, you need to do this task. It's a quick task, 1 or 2 hours in order to be considered. So that's a great one too. Then there's a couple cases over the past 1.5 years where I should have fired sooner. So everyone says hire fast, fire faster. And every time I fired someone, I was like, I could have done this already like 2 weeks earlier. But then if you're like a good person, you're like, okay, maybe they just need 1-2 more weeks to figure it out and to get the hang of it and da-da-da. So then you give them the benefit of the doubt. And then you just waste a lot of time. So I'm going to try and be a little bit more ruthless with that, but also giving employees the key feedback on what needs to change directly so that they can fix it or not fix it. And if they don't fix it, they can go somewhere else and we'll find someone else to replace them. But yeah, that's going to be my key thing for 2025. Also, one of the 3 things that we want to do in 2025 to make $1 million is productizing one solution, selling it 100+ times for mid to high ticket only. And in doing that, my most important role is going to be to have a team, streamline processes, make sure the team is on point. We have structure in the team. We all know deadlines. We all know what needs to get done. We're in sync nicely. We have everything in one nice place. In our case, we use Notion. So there's a lot of things to figure out, but the team is such a key element, and we're now like 12, 13, 14 people, something like that. So the bigger the team gets, the harder it becomes. And also there's a reason why big companies are so much slower than small companies. Like we already realize this now, like the speed of how we do things becomes slower because there's so many more people involved. So when it was just us two, the website is done in a day, the first chatbot is built in a day, da da da. But now, like, everything takes a longer amount of time. So you need the right people to sort of counteract that a little bit. Because a lot of the companies also that we worked with, like billion-dollar companies, are the slowest people
Yeah,
you've ever met in your life. Like the
it's
amount of
crazy.
time they take to make a decision about $500 is crazy. So
Yeah, the overhead definitely grows with the size of the team. However, it's a necessity to scale. Also about what he said, it's a big goal of us this year to productize an agency service. I would call it agency service now because it's software. However, it's very custom built. So if a client comes to us and says, I have 6 appointment setters and I would like to reduce that, or I would like to make them more efficient. I would like to reactivate my 100,000 old leads and my people are not capable of doing that because they have no time. Then we sit down with that client and actually build a custom solution for his business. We build one AI, multi-agentive system probably, but one AI that's only working and knowing the things necessary to know in this certain business. So we cannot use this AI in another business. However, there's multiple things you can productize around it. If it be connections, if it be the foundation, if it be the server, the hosting, the API calls, whatever, I'm just throwing it out there. There's a whole bunch of things we can productize, automate, so we can simply replicate them with the next client. However, there's also certain variables we cannot replicate, which is mainly the knowledge base, the AI, the prompts, and all of these things. That together with we want to do millions of dollars this year makes it a very challenging task. So we want to sell at least 100 of these projects this year, which means every 3 days we need to deliver one AI solution to a client. And we also always work in a 100% done for you fashion, which means all of those clients then are also ran by us. So they're hosted on our side. We are running everything. We're doing adjustments. We're doing improvements. The client has nothing actually to do with it. He just wants it to be done. And that's how we work. So with every new client, we also have more retainer clients, which we always need to take care of and always need to maintain a high satisfaction rate. However, one thing I really want to highlight here is that this is also a belief-breaking year for me. I said that in one of the videos because if we just go back a year, I was always a SaaS guy, so I'm running in software businesses since 6-7 years because in my head, this is always the most scalable one. This is the one which gets you to millions a month and so on. However, one thing I just recently said is, who said an agency service is not scalable? That's me. Let's prove this guy wrong this year. So my task for this year is to actually mass sell an agency service, at some point productize it down, pass those clients to Emil's team. Emil's task for this year is to productize everything, have the team on point so we know when the onboarding happens, when the handover happens from sales to the product team, when the customer success team needs to get activated, what kind of information we need from the client. And there's a whole process and systems going into this to make this scalable. Just onboarding a client, which is something in the beginning where you think, okay, what's so hard about that? If you want to onboard a new client every day or every second day, then that's something you need to actually nail down your processes and your systems, and everything needs to work smoothly. Because also don't forget, this is high ticket, mid ticket to high ticket service. So we are charging 5K, 10K, 15, 20K tickets to clients, and they expect a certain level of professionalism for that money. And we also want to shine because in the end, all comes down to your reputation. If these big businesses are happy with what solution OmniFusion AI can provide, they're definitely going to share this with their business partners or with other businesses in the same niche. That's the same thing we do here, right? So if any one of us uses a good tool which helps us with YouTube or with our agency, we're sharing it with everyone. If some of us has a good thumbnail maker, we're sharing it between us. So good value and good work always gets more referrals. And that's something we always held very high in our company. We have a lot of referrals and people like to come to us for these solutions, and we want to keep this high, even though we are selling them en masse. Let's say that's one thing to balance, to have a lot of clients and all of them happy.
So before we move to the next point for productizing the solution, like you mentioned, like the goal is to, number one, we need to become excellent at the sales side, the appointment setting side to actually know how these people like their appointment setters, for example, to work.
Yep.
Then we need to take that, put it into one big system where we know the system works well. We have a lot of case studies. I think you talk about it in one of the videos.
Yeah, the next upcoming video. Probably it's live when you see this.
Yeah, so it's a case study where a client made $200,000 or something from the solution
in 5 weeks.
We want to build that proven framework. We then want to give it to the client, and we want to streamline the onboarding process for a client where they just provide the information that we need in the format that we need, so that someone from the team can take that, put it into the system, which we've spent a lot of time and money building out, a lot of time and money, and then take that, put it into the system and deliver it to the client. And we want to do it with speed and urgency. And we're going to make it happen. Already made a lot of progress.
Yeah.
Even it's just 11 days into the year now. But we're getting there very quickly.
I'm proud.
One of the things also, thank you, sir. One of the things also for selling this 100 to 200 times is not just the delivery. It's also going to be to get the right clients and the right people onto sales calls. And taking content seriously is going to be the key aspect to it. If you take a look at the channel, what we've been doing over the past 1.5 years, when we started, we didn't have so much work to do on the side. So we made a lot of content. We were consistent with the content. You made videos, Instagram outreach, auto IGDM, all that stuff. I made tutorial videos on how to build AI agents, AI appointment setters, put it into Instagram. We made the first video on integrating voice flow with ManyChat, for example, back in the day. So we were very consistent, but we always treated recording content as a variable. So if we have time, we'll record content. If we don't have time, we won't record content. And what happened the past few months? We had no time. Especially me, I had no time. You recorded a couple videos. I think I made maybe one video in the past 3 to 4 months. So that's something that we're going to have to change. We're going to have to make recording content part of our work. And it's also something for you guys to take with you, maybe. If you are starting an agency or if you're selling any service, really, it doesn't really matter what you're selling. And even if it's not AI, regardless of what you're selling, making content is probably the best way to get qualified people in front of you if you make the right content and you need to take it seriously. So that's going to be something where we're already right now planning out the full content strategy for the next 3 months.
Yep.
Obviously, planning for a year is hard in the AI space, I would say, especially. Yep. It makes it a little bit more hard to plan for an entire year. But planning for 3 months, sticking to it, putting a lot more effort and quality into the pre-production of videos. Post-production isn't that important for education. It's a lesson you took from Pomozi as well. But pre-production, planning the video, planning the structure, and actually making them as valuable as possible, and then putting them out there into the world on YouTube. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that you guys can look forward to there as well. What are your insights on the content for 2025?
Yeah, definitely. We have been slacking on the content game because we saw it as a variable. As you just said, content was a hobby and not even one you actually like doing. For everyone out there who is procrastinating on creating content, we know it from experience now because we are surrounded by content creators. Nobody likes to create content. It sounds stupid. We like to share the value. We like to educate people, and everyone here does. But nobody likes the act of, there's lights everywhere here. There's laptops, there's microphones, there's setups. You have to think about the script usually. That's how other people make videos. I always freestyled mine. That's maybe gonna change. So there's a lot that goes into a video. Thinking about it, the title, the thumbnail, the description, what angle should it be, what's the hook, how long is the video, how are you converting people from the video, and so on. So doing content is a full-time job in itself. And if you take it super serious, it can be extremely valuable. And that's what we're going to do more of this year, especially me. From the sales side, I will be dependent on the lead flow we have because he can only build 100 projects if I bring him 100 clients who already paid, right? So he gets access to the clients if they are paid and signed. And before that, I need to go through hundreds of clients to actually get 100 qualified, good people we want to work with. It's also going to be a theme of this year, saying no more often, because I have a bunch of calls and people always have great ideas in their business. Hey, can we do this AI and that AI? Could AI do this? And if they ask like that, my founder brain is be like, yeah, definitely. Yeah, we can do it. I'm sure we can do it. We have the devs, we have the capabilities, we have the resources. But the question is, should you do it? Because if you do 10 different projects, which have 10 different use cases, you always do 10 different things. But as just explained, we want to do one thing and one thing really good, and that's AI appointment setting, AI qualification, AI nurturing. Everything between getting the lead and closing the lead is our priority for this year. And to do that, we need to learn to say no, especially me. I need to learn to say no more often to people who are not qualified or who are looking for a solution which is not what we want to deliver. That's a big part of it. And also how to brand and how to target the right audience on YouTube. Our audience is very much surrounded about sales, which is perfectly fine for us. It's more targeted towards outreach. Now it's going to transition more to target towards larger businesses who have problems or bottlenecks with setting appointments and handling leads. And this is actually where we come in. Our AI can handle tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of leads. The number actually doesn't matter. If the system is built well, it doesn't matter if it's 100 leads or 100,000 leads. It just increases the API calls and the runs, which are in the background. So yeah, coming back to the YouTube topic, this year, a big goal for me personally is to take YouTube seriously. Content is revenue. You can write that down. Content is revenue. We said that a year ago, and we know that's true. However, we were still slacking because we had revenue and we were busy. However, slacking on YouTube with content get penalized, as you all know. So currently our new videos get the penalty for us not posting for the last couple of months. And the quality will increase, the quantity will increase, and specifically the value of our videos will increase because we see all the videos that are popping on our channel are actually videos where we provide raw, unfiltered value to whoever is watching it and is unique on the market. And we are going to do more of that this year. So if you're interested in any topic, AI sales agency, AI appointment setting, having an AI business and scaling it past 7 figures, this is going to be your channel.
The last thing we wrote down is internal company structure, SOPs, reports, data tracking, and more. So one of the big lessons as well is that we freestyled a lot of things too much. So that's the content, that's the sales, that's the product delivery, that's managing the team members. As you continue to grow, you realize that, okay, all of these big companies with their annoying processes, there's a reason why they have all of these processes and it goes through these chain of commands. A lot of them overdo it, but there's a reason why you need to focus on structure. And I think I mentioned it in a video like a year ago on making SOPs, that it's like one of the most important things I learned. And I was doing something with SOPs, but it wasn't really being done right. So that's going to be a big thing for this year, is to streamline things, analyze constantly, which also comes with me not having to build projects anymore, Seattle not having to write emails anymore. These sort of things allow us to have the time so that I can sit down and be like, okay, currently this is my meeting structure. How can I make this meeting structure better? This is how we manage the tasks for the development team. And this is how they are reviewed. How can I make this part better? This is how we onboard a client and how we do the communication with clients. How can we do this better? So it's the thing of working on your business or working in your business. And we want to work on the business and not in the business. So that's going to be a big thing as well for this year.
Yeah. However, if you are starting off or if you're more in a phase of the beginning or whatever, it's absolutely correct to work in your business. And that's what we did. And we only have this problem of SOPs and structure and processes and everything. That's a good problem to have because actually working in the business was so successful that we can now allow ourselves to take ourselves out a bit by outsourcing and buying back our time with talents inside of our company, right? So in the beginning, you don't start off with 10 employees doing all the things. You actually need to do the work yourself. You need to understand it yourself. You need to talk to the clients yourself. You need to write the emails yourself. You need to get feedback yourself, just so you understand what the market actually wants. And then you can start buying back your time piece by piece by piece.
Also, one of the reasons why, for example, I've heard this multiple times from team members, is that they respect us because they know how hard we work and how hard we worked to get to this point. So some of the developers on our team, they know that I would sit there on a Saturday evening at midnight and work on fixing a solution. So because I did that for so long and I put in so many hours and worked so hard to do all of these things, it now puts it in a whole different perspective than if you were lazy before, onboarded an employee, and then that employee started to do all the work, but you were still lazy. There's just the level of respect is just not the same.
Not going to work. Never.
So that's a very important thing too, that they know that you're willing to do the hard things and get your hands dirty a little bit. And it makes the whole relationship with your team a lot different, which is one of the key things as well in managing the team. Like you need to be like kind of a little bit like friends with them. Like a lot of the guys, like one of our key developers is coming here to Thailand
in a week,
like a week or 2 weeks, something like that, to spend 2 weeks with me, us,
just to work together
and just
and be
work together, live together, and be friends, you know, like actually hang out together in person. So these are the relationships that you have to try and build, and they get built through hard work and solving hard problems and being happy about solving them after. And it's a bonding experience as well. And also don't be afraid to use your personality. So we have very unique personalities. So you can let that out in the call. Like sometimes we bark, you know, and that's
we just do.
and
that's good.
That's just what makes us us. And it's funny. Or at the end of all of our team calls, we do the double front
biceps,
and we'll make everyone in the team do it. If you don't do it, you're fired. And it's just a funny thing to do, and everyone enjoys it, and it creates a great team culture as well. So the 3 things to make $1 million or more in 2025 with this solution in particular, Takeaway Auto GDM, is to productize one solution, sell it 100+ times, take content seriously, make it the main priority in our work, and internal company structure, SOPs, reports, get more data on sales, on delivery, and just streamline everything. And
just basically grow as business owners. And we all do our part for it. We all have our own learnings, and I'm really blessed and grateful that I'm not alone on this journey as a founder. Super happy to share this with you and with Samira, our Wonder Woman in the background, which you never see, but without, we wouldn't do what we do if it was not because of her. Thankfully, we all grow as business owners, as founders, as managers, as whatever the position might be. And what I learned as well, I want to put this out there because maybe some people struggle with the same thing, and that was eye-opening for me. When I've been at the Hormozy event, alexhormozyacquisition.com headquarter, Las Vegas, I think 3 weeks ago, before I came here to Thailand for a sales workshop, he said that a great CEO sees his company as an investor and not as a manager. And that's something that I was doing wrong for a very long time. So I was managing a lot, and I think it's partly necessary, especially in the beginning. However, if you get into the trenches of managing constantly and having more and more people and have a little bit of a control freak tendency that I do have apparently, then you lose focus again, right? And now I'll get back to 80% of my time, especially as a CEO or founder. If you're a solopreneur, that goes to you as well. 80% of your time, of everything you do during your work time, should be targeted towards growing the company. And managing people is not growing the company, it's just sustaining the company. The biggest part for that is actually content, sales systems, having my sales team on point, and I'm going to take this serious this year. So at least 80% of everything I do during work, especially what I do right now, should be growing the company, or I just literally don't do it. And I think we have every few months, we will have this belief changing situations where we learn new things and grow. But I think that's exactly the journey we're in for. We love the results, but we also love the journey. I mean, look at what we are doing, where we are, with which people we surround ourselves. And that's just because we love what we do and we do what we love.
Yeah. So we're excited for 2025. If you want to build an AI sales agency, or if you're looking to learn anything about how to use AI in sales, we're going to have a lot of content for you. Just want to finish it by saying that we're going to smash.
We're going to smash this year so hard.
Smash 2025, hit all our goals, and learn a lot and become better people in the progress. So thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. Peace out. See you in the next one.